To start off things, I want to say that, Colts fans yesterday just happened to be really, really edgy because once again, it was only maybe 6 hours into the offseason, and Colts fans were like, they're not making any moves. Bargain Ballard, da da da, da da da. And there you have it. Stephon Gilmore get traded, and the Colts fan base split. But what's going on, everybody? It is your boy, Coach Shark, moderator of the Blue Stable tonight. And I got two of my co hosts with me. We got some news with you, and we're going to talk about it. And we're going to start it off with Landon. Landon, how are we doing tonight so far?
Doing pretty good. A lot of moves happening over the last 2 days. Ready to get into it. Kind of explain why it's good, why the sky is not falling, why everything is okay. You know, and we'll just see where it goes from there. But yeah, other than that, doing good, doing really good, enjoying a lovely day, and excited to sit here and talk with you guys.
A lovely day indeed. Mike, how are we doing up there?
We doing all right, man. Today has been a good day for the first time in his tenure. The first day Ballard got active, and today there was also a move that we'll talk about. I got my purple Powerade, I got my zebra cakes, so I'm ready to chow down on those and talk some Colts football. It's always a good day.
Yeah, man, it is indeed. So we're going to start it off with, of course, from the title, as you guys may see, Stephon Gilmore was traded to the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas secondary desperately needed help, in my opinion. So I think going to get a vet like Gilmore is definitely boosting them, and they can still make more moves, and it's a good move for them. But we get a fifth round pick back. A lot of Colts fans would probably expect maybe a third or few because they seen what Ramsey got and other things of that nature. But to be honest, I think most of us seen this coming as well because the direction that this team is going. So and this is a bright spot for the young group like an Isaiah Rogers Sr. that you guys want to see more playing time with. So Stephon Gilmore being gone, it is what it is at the end of the day. But he's playing for a contender. That's my opinion personally. But I want to get my guys to get their opinion on it as well. So we're gonna start off with Mike. Mike, Stephon Gilmore to Dallas. How you feel about that?
I think it's a good move for both sides. I can't speak for Landon, but I know a couple of days ago that I had heard that Stephon was one of a few vets that have quietly asked, inquired about what the future of this team is, what the vision that Ballard and Steichen see for them, what is their plan going forward as it pertains obviously to next year, because Stephon Gilmore is 32 years old, so he wants to compete now. So quietly, he went ahead and just asked for a trade, and you see what happened today. I think it's a good move for both teams, and I know there's a lot of people, Landon's going to talk about it as well, a lot of people are asking, oh my gosh, is a fifth rounder all we could get for Stephon Gilmore? I mean, it was either that or we just cut him and just game cat space. Now you cut him, you get a valuable fifth-round pick. Fifth-round picks can be valuable in the NFL draft this year, especially at a couple of deep positions. You traded away a corner, you could use that fifth round pick to draft a corner. So we'll have another month to talk about that position and everything. But for Dallas, I think, do they need Stephon Gilmore? I don't think so. I think they needed more defensive line help, so to say, the middle of their interior, they need more toughness. We'll continue to see how Neville Gallimore's development continues to go. But obviously, now you got Trayvon Diggs and Stephon Gilmore on the outside. Dallas is obviously trying to go all in and trying to get a Super Bowl. They were close to getting to the NFC Championship game, but a few Dak mistakes did not allow them to get there. But I think it's a good move for both sides. The Colts get draft capital and they free up some money. So, Stephon Gilmore was gone either way, but hey, we get a fifth rounder in return, so I'm cool with it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Draft capital is definitely one thing all of us will probably want more draft picks for sure. And we were probably going to move a vet anyway, especially from what we did playing GM. Mike did the Jonathan Taylor thing. There was a Kenny Moore one. It was Molly Cox. So the Colts were gonna move a vet regardless. But Stephon Gilmore, of course, a lot of people are shocked. But hey, it is what it is at the end of the day. We didn't expect him to be here long term anyway. So now we're gonna go to Landon with his thoughts on Stephon Gilmore going to Dallas.
Yeah, well, I actually think they did need a cornerback too. I think that was a position of need for that team, and I think they knocked it out of the park with this trade. It's great for them. This is a team that they've been on the verge the last couple years. They've got their quarterback signed long term. They've drafted their offensive line, defensive line, obviously with Micah Parsons there and some of the other guys. Signed Malik Hooker, who's played good football, but they needed some help in the secondary still, and I think this was a really good move towards securing that for them. And as far as for the Colts, there's not really much you could ask for whenever you look at the salary, you look at the age. Stephon Gilmore is going to be 33 this season, I believe in October. He'll be 33 October or yeah, October, November. But I mean, Jalen Ramsey, like, I sent that out, Jalen Ramsey's 28 years old. He'll be 29, so he's still under 30, one of the best cornerbacks in all of football. And he went for a third rounder. And so to get a fifth rounder for a guy who's going to be, you know, he's on the last year of his deal, they're probably not going to re-sign him to the deal. And he's going to be 33, and you got a fifth round pick, and you cleared $9.92 million of cap space. Um, it's whenever Stephon Gilmore signed here last year, this was not the role in the team that he was promised to play. This very similar to Matt Ryan, like all these guys that came in last year to compete for a title. It ended up being a 4-win team. This is not what they signed up for, and it's unfortunate, but that's kind of the reality of things. And it's a good look whenever you have that kind of stuff happen and you allow guys to say, hey, it didn't work out for us, and we know you want to go somewhere different as well. You're on the last legs of your career. You want to compete for a title, and you give them that opportunity. And that's really good optics, not only for the team, but I mean, for other players, for agents, for anybody that could possibly look at coming to this team in the future. Like maybe, a couple of years down is a nice piano. Maybe a couple years down the line, whenever, the Colts do have that quarterback of the future and they're able to, be competitive and they can convince some other vets, that's something that guys look at is like, hey, if things don't work out, are they just going to hold me hostage? And the Colts didn't do that. So props to them. It's a good move for Gilly. It's a good move for Indy with the direction they're going. And it's just an unfortunate reality of the business.
And I mean, I think, you could always make the argument that, hey, you could always get more for a player. But Landon was right about everything he said, the age and the money. And, you could go get younger corners for maybe that same style of play for cheaper, or at least younger in age. Now, Stephon, I will say, Stephon played great when he was here. I'll echo what Landon said. This is not the situation that he signed up for. He came to Indianapolis for multiple reasons and because of multiple people. I mean, number one, Shaquille Leonard. I mean, him and Shaquille Leonard have a rock solid relationship. And then DeForest Buckner, and then Kenny Moore, because I believe they had crossed paths in New England as well. So Rodney McLeod, you got Ron Miles, who is one of the most respected secondary coaches in all of the NFL, probably in NFL history. There was multiple reasons, and then things went awry, to say. But I will say this: Stephon Gilmore alone, Stephon Gilmore by himself, is the sole reason why the Colts are not picking number one in the draft. How many we won 4 games. He was the reason for 3 of them, right? I think the first one was Kansas City, right? And then the second one was Denver. And I believe the third one was the Raiders, right? So because of Stephon Gilmore, we're at number 4 and not at number 1. But of course, you appreciate that a guy like Stephon Gilmore, who will go down as one of the better cornerbacks of his generation. He got to play for your team, and you got to see him make plays, and do what really made him one of the better corners of the generation. So thank you, Stephon Gilmore. I know Marcus and Landon obviously share the same Colts fans, and thank you. But please don't win in Dallas. I don't like that franchise. So, but other than that, thank you for wanting to be a Colt.
Absolutely. It's going to be tough for him in Dallas because, as I stated to some Cowboys fans that got Gilmore, they was pretty excited. But I said, I will warn you, he is going to see his dad 2 times a year this time because I've seen it in person. Scary Terry, that grown man, 2 times a year versus Gilly, that's going to be a matchup worth watching because if anybody knows football, it's Stephon Gilmore. And I'm pretty sure he has that memory haunted in the back of his head every day and night like mine because I
Oh
was
man,
there in
if you
person.
even I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was there in person. It wasn't pretty.
Hey, I'm gonna say just in that whole division, right? I mean, pick your poison. Trevon Diggs and Stephon Gilmore are gonna face AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and then you go to New York, who has nobody. So then you go to Washington and Scary Terry, right? I mean, Dallas kind of, battling with Philly there. You got 2 studs on the outside. We'll bring 2 studs to face your 2 studs. So I like it. I like the move for both sides. Now the Colts, I believe there was a comment in here that said, the Colts have 3 fifth-round picks now because they did have a 6th, but due to some numbers in the Nyheim Hines trade, that got converted to a 5th-rounder. So the Colts now have 3 fifth-round picks, no 6th-round picks. Although you could probably get one for Ryan Kelly, but hey, we like those picks.
Hey, ballad movie. You never know. You never
Keep
know.
bringing them.
Yeah, and I mean, like, let's not forget either. I mean, like, he's done pretty well in the later rounds of draft. I mean, 2 of our starters along the secondary were drafted after the 5th round in Isaiah Rogers Sr. and Rodney Thomas. So, you know, just because they might be 5th round picks and they're not first or second rounders doesn't mean you can't get productive players from, these picks. So, yeah, I mean, you have a chance to draft some really, and this is a deep cornerback class. It's
Yep.
very deep.
Yep.
So I mean, you're going to have guys that go, day 2, day 3 that are going to be really good players. So, I would possibly see them double dip at cornerback in this class. I would still like to see them sign a veteran for that room, but probably on like a cheaper deal, and then you'll have this it's a really good cornerback class.
I agree 100%. And just to piggyback off what Mike said when he was talking about that division, when he mentioned the Giants not having any talent, the Giants usually has a pretty decent offseason when it comes towards the end, but they did make some moves. We're going to go ahead and piggyback and go ahead and straight into this direction of them picking up Bobby Okereke, Colts former linebacker. They picked him up for a 4-year deal. Didn't He got all the money he deserved on the contract worth. I know one of you guys have the numbers, so I'm going to let you guys speak on it. But a 4-year deal for Bobby Okereke in New York. His time in Indianapolis was great. Like I said, the development that he did over the years from the beginning to now is amazing. We lost talent in Anthony Walker Jr. We started to question the linebacker group who can step up to the plate and do those things, and him and Bobby Okereke did that. You know what I mean? Like he was just a flat out dog, especially with Shaquille Leonard getting hurt. Him, EJ Speed, Zaire all definitely get their kudos, but Bobby Okereke is definitely one of those guys leading the league and leading the team in tackles and all those things, the forced fumbles and the interceptions. He was definitely a dog. Definitely deserves every penny. Best of luck to him in New York. We're going to go to Landon first about this Bobby Okereke deal to the Giants. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, well, it was 4 years, $40 million, 22 million guaranteed. So it was a good chunk of change for him, and it's something that he deserves. For me, like, he's kind of what the modern linebacker is, where he's not necessarily great as far as getting sacks and making those game-changing plays like Shaquille Leonard is. Like, that's kind of the next step in his evolution, is you would like to see more game-changing plays. But as far as like how he performs in coverage, his pass down ability is fantastic. And whenever you're playing in a pass happy league, you have to have a linebacker that's capable of that. And I think he's proved that, you know, he's gotten better every year, and that's one of the stronger suits of his game. So I think it was a really great move for the Giants, really great move for them. Unfortunately, Indianapolis just I mean, could they have kept him probably for that price? Yeah. I mean, they could have. But one thing the Colts are very, very good at is drafting and developing linebackers. And they still have, like, they re-signed EJ Speed. Zaire is still there. Zaire led the league, not just the Colts. He led the league in tackles. And then not only that, you have one of the best defensive players in all of football, regardless of position, coming back. And he's probably going to be the one that you see um, take over for that role that Bobby Okereke played, and that's Shaq Leonard. So they still have a really great linebacking core. I really believe EJ Speed is ascending into a really good linebacker. So to me, like, you're able to bring a guy up that you've been developing who's ascending as a young player. You're able to get Shaquille Leonard back. You still have Zaire, and you're able to save that money for other positions. So, I mean, it's a great move for Bobby to go get the money. Don't blame him at all. I'm always about players getting theirs, for sure. I'm definitely a players guy. So, yeah, really good deal for him. I'm happy for him.
Absolutely, absolutely. Next man up in Indy, man, for sure. They've been doing that for a while now. We're gonna go to Mike on his thoughts on Bobby Okereke to the Giants.
I'm sad about it, man. I always loved the linebacker position. I love Bobby Okereke. I think I loved the pick a lot more than maybe the rest of the fan base did that night, because you also had some other needs, and then you go Bobby Okereke. I loved the pick, the former Stanford Cardinal. If you guys haven't, like, we got to sit down with Bobby Okereke last offseason. We had an interview with him. If y'all want to go to our YouTube channel and check that out, awesome guy to talk to. His family is incredibly smart. Nothing but 4.0 GPAs in that family. A lot of pride when you're carrying that Okereke last name. And, I'm happy for him, man. This payday is important to him and his family. Obviously you're a millionaire for the rest of your life. So obviously excited for that. His play this season just ascended to where I didn't know if he was going to get to, but it ascended much better than I thought it would. And him and Zaire became one of the better linebacker duos in the NFL. And that's just facts. That's not me just saying that. The numbers support that claim. And that's just a fact. So, and just like Landon had spoke on it, you got Zaire, who's on a 3-year deal. You already re-signed him. Huge locker room leader. Was a huge special teams player. Now that's not the case anymore, as he's a starter. So you kind of had to make your decisions and really say, well, you already have so much money invested at the linebacker position. You got Shaquille, you got Zaire, you have other linebackers there. You have JoJo Doman, who showed really good stuff, and then you obviously had a decision to make on EJ Speed. So it kind of went hand in hand to just what you needed to prioritize. And obviously linebacker is just that one position where I don't have any worries about the Colts scouting, analyzing, and drafting. So even Anthony Walker, we talked about guys who are on day 3 that became starters. Anthony Walker was a very solid linebacker for us. I know a lot of fans had some gripes about his play in the pass coverage, but that man was a dog in the run game. So yeah, linebacker is not a problem with me. I love Bobby, though. I guess it just hits all fans differently because Pat McAfee announced his name. He announced his pick. So that was obviously special. He could still become a Hall of Famer. Unfortunately, it just won't be known for in a Colts uniform, hopefully. But other than that, it was a good deal for him. And he's off to New York. They just went to the playoffs, got to the divisional round, maybe get some more weapons on the outside, and who knows, Bobby Okereke could possibly be playing in the Super Bowl next year. Who knows?
Yeah, and let's another point too I want to kind of make is the way that they run their defense, the way Gus Bradley deploys 3 safeties a lot. A lot of times you're playing those 2 linebackers out there to begin with. So you're probably, more prevalently going to see Shaquille Leonard and Zaire Franklin. And then, they have the trio now, as of right now, of Rodney Thomas, Julian Blackman, and Nick Cross. I think a lot of people forget about Nick Cross, where they treated last year as basically a redshirt year for him. And I think this is kind of going to be where they unleash him is in these three safety sets where he kind of plays closer to the line of scrimmage, is able to cover tight ends, attack the line of scrimmage, maybe blitz a little bit. So just with the way that they play, they normally play those two linebackers and either have a slot cornerback like Kenny Moore, or they have a third safety in there anyway. So yeah, I mean, like I said, it's it's a loss because everybody loves Bobby and they love what he stands for and they love the type of player he is. But I think as far as on the field goes, I don't necessarily know. Now, this is also pertaining if Shaq Leonard is 100% healthy, but I really think having Shaq Leonard and Zaire there and having, that either the slot corner like Nick Cross or Julian Blackman playing in that kind of lurk role in the middle of the field, closer to the line of scrimmage, I really think you're going to see more of an impact from the safeties as opposed to the linebackers.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I agree with you for sure. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what Nick Cross can do next year. This offseason, I think, is going to be a lot focused on the guys getting more reps. The Isaiah Rogers Sr. move with Stephon Gilmore more. He's going to step up to the plate. They even got rid of Brandon Faison. So that just says a lot for what they're going to be doing development wise for this young group that they're going to be doing moving forward. So another move that they made, of course, we mentioned the linebacker group. Got to mention EJ Speed coming back. He got a new contract, 2-year deal. It's going to be $8 million if I'm correct. Yeah, $8 million, 500K incentives in each year. So shout out to EJ Speed for getting his money. He definitely deserves it. He played like he was a flat out dog. He was one of those guys that just flew off the camera whenever you were watching the game or if you was watching film, like my guy Landon on Mike would do. He would just fly off the camera. He was just a phenomenal talent last year. Stepped up big time when players went down. He stepped up to the plate. Like again, Bobby, and Zaire was just tremendous this year, and he definitely deserves every dollar, probably even more in my opinion personally. But I think EJ Speed definitely deserves it. So shout out to him. We're gonna go to Mike. What was your thoughts on EJ Speed getting his money?
I love EJ Speed, man. As long as we're bringing linebackers back, man, I'm happy, okay? Maybe not have been Bobby, but it was EJ Speed, the former Tarleton State Texan, man. Man, this dude, let's just go back to where he got drafted from. When his name was called, I don't, Landon, I don't know about you. I had no idea who the hell this guy was. I really didn't. I'm just like, who? From where? Tarleton State? A 5th-round pick from Tarleton State? I go back and I just, get some film and I'm like, whoa. And then all of that translates to here. And it's your prototypical Chris Ballard build at the linebacker position, right? Long arms, athletic, just a stout human being, a stout athlete. And he shows some good stuff. Obviously, his first start coming against Arizona on Christmas last year had a real good game. That was for me, that was the first. I can't speak for anybody else, but generally, that was the first good game where EJ Speed showed you like, whoa, could this guy be a player, for multiple years? Because his contract was obviously, his rookie contract was coming to an end. Could this guy, be a stable? And now he comes into the 4th year. Unfortunate situation going on with Shaquille Leonard, but that opened an opportunity for EJ Speed, and he's just making plays. I mean, go back to the Tennessee game. Every time EJ Speed is on the field, he's making plays. Third and 2, EJ Speed comes on. Derrick Henry goes wide right. Boom, hits him. Now you have 4th and 1. You ultimately lose the game, but it's just those winning plays, those plays that EJ Speed makes that he wasn't making before, although he wasn't getting on the field to make them. He comes on and now he's back. He did have a good market, but he did like his relationships in the building. Richard Smith was, to my understanding, is a big reason why he stayed in Indianapolis. The relationship that he has with Richard Smith is off the charts. EJ was probably one of his favorite players when he first met. Obviously, that's his position player, position coach. So being back, Same system, same defense coordinator. Continuity has something to do with it a little bit. So I'm happy for him. 2 years, $8 million. I love it. Incentives, throw those in there. If you continue to get better, then you play yourself out of your contract and you can maybe get more money next go around. So I'm happy for him, man. Bring EJ Speed back. I love it. Happy to
breaking news right here, guys. 49ers free agent defensive end Samson Ebukam just reached a 3-year, $27 million deal with the Indianapolis Colts.
Are you serious?
Serious.
Samson Ebukam?
Yeah.
Let's go. He was one of my favorite guys last year. Let's go. What, 3 years, 27 million?
Yep, 3 years, 27 million, 11 million in the first year.
Oh, so we're front loading it. Hey, I like that. Yep. I like that. I like it. He was one of my guys last year in the free agent class. I mean, I'm not just saying that because we're breaking news. We got episodes. We got YouTube shows. Go back to those shows last year. I'm talking about Samson Ebukam. Love it. Love it. Real quick, before we move to that, Landon, your thoughts on EJ Speed, man. I'm happy to have him back. Former Tarleton State Texan. I'll keep throwing that out there. If y'all don't know where that's at, it's a university in Stephenville, Texas. It's maybe an hour west of Dallas. Maybe an hour and a half or so.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think you put it really, really eloquently when you said he's like the perfect Chris Ballard linebacker. You know, long, rangy, fast, athletic. I mean, this is a guy that we've seen grow every single year, and now he's finally going to get his shot, I think. And I love the deal for him as well. You know, the 2-year deal, that's a chance for him to, you know, really good deal for the Colts. He can continue to develop over the next 2 years. He'll still be young when he hits that other contract, and he's able to cash in if the next 2 years go well. And, you know, it's a perfect deal for the team, perfect deal for the player. Really exciting stuff for sure. And I'm excited to see EJ. Like I said, you're probably going to see a lot more 2 linebacker sets, but whenever he is on the field, this is a guy that just made tons of plays last year, and he's a really great fit for what the Colts want to do.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. We got to go ahead and talk about this now. Ebukam to the Colts. That is a move. And hopefully this shuts up Colts fans because they always talk about Ballard not spending money or anything. He just went and got a defensive end that we really needed. We actually do. And Mike, you already campaigned for him, so you can go ahead and start to pave the way about your feelings about this acquisition.
Yeah, man. So Samson Ebukam, this guy is a really solid vet. Obviously, I caught wind of him. I think a lot of us caught wind of him when he played for the 49ers 2 years ago, and obviously making really good plays. They made it to the NFC Championship game, ultimately losing to LA. But this is interesting because he plays the same side as Yannick Ngakoue. So is Yannick Ngakoue not coming back? You know, Yannick, we talked about it, Landon, you and I, when we did our, GM series. How much is Yannick going to command? What's his market going to be? And then what are other guys' market going to be? Okay. Yeah, Samson, I would put him and Yannick in the same tier, honestly, because Yannick doesn't do a whole lot of pass rush win rate. He doesn't have a good percentage there. But Samson Ebukam is solid there. Now, he's not going to blow you out of the water. He's not going to come in, grab 12 sacks. But he's going to give you consistent pressure. He's not going to be a liability in the run game like Yannick Ngakoue was. He really gives you the best of both worlds. And 3 years, $27 million, that's a solid deal. For Yannick, you probably would have had to go 3 for $40. But we know Chris Ballard. He values deals he's very precise in how he builds a contract. So I like it. I want Landon to get in on this because I know he knows that Samson Ebukam as well. So I'm happy for it. Keep on getting pass rushers. Keep on adding to the trenches. I like it. If this was a move when we were actually competing, it would be different. But hey, get some guys in here. Continue to help build the culture a little bit. I like it, man. I like it.
Yeah, and this is kind of in the mold of Chris Ballard as well. I mean, really, really athletic guy. I mean, we're talking about 6'3", 245, 250, ran a 4.45 at the 40. Long arms, and he hasn't really necessarily put it all together just yet. He's had some really good moments. I believe he had a 12% pass rush win rate last season, which is really solid. But this gets them out to me more than likely. Yannick Ngakoue is not coming back, and really it's just more of like production over price for that, because you're probably looking at, you know, 12 to 15 million per year, and you just got this guy, for a few $1 million less. And I mean, it he's a guy, like I said, he's been productive in spots. He had a better 2021 than last year for the 49ers, but long, rangy, really fast, you know, very bendy and stuff. So if they can continue to get him coached up a little bit, I think he can really make a good impact here. And, to me, he's probably a guy that kind of profiles very similarly to like Hassan Reddick as far as like body type and like how they play. So I think, there's a good chance he can come in, be a really good rotational piece there with Dio and Quiddy, and just kind of have that rotation. And with Yannick, you're going to have to pay him like upper tier money. And as I've stated on this show many times, he's much more of a rotational guy that is going to get paid like a top tier pass rusher, just because of the sacks, which sacks are very misleading. It's a very misleading stat. So um, while I don't think Ebukam has the stats, I do think he makes kind of a similar impact that Yannick makes. And who knows? I mean, they might still sign Yannick. We have no idea, but I think he's going to be a really cost effective rotational pass rusher with upside, and they're going to pair him with Dio and Quiddy. And yeah, I mean, I like the move. I think it's a good move.
Yeah, so the pass rush run weight for Ibukam versus Yannick. Uh, Ibukam is 14.9% and Yannick is 11%. So this definitely is an upgrade. Shout out to Zach Hicks for tweeting that. I was looking for that
Yeah,
while
and see,
you were talking.
that's kind of much more indicative of where you are as a pass rusher. Sacks, like I said, are very misleading, and the pass rush win rate, to me, is a much better indication of the impact that a player has on a game. So, he might not get as many sacks, but he creates more pressure on a consistent basis, and that's really what the name of the game is getting pressure on the quarterback.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. That's a tremendous signing for the Colts. This is just a baby step into a bigger direction for what the Colts are we're planning to do. This is a good sight for the Colts. They're making moves in the offseason. Another move they made, they went and got a kicker, Matt Gay, from the Rams. They bought him back. He used to play for the Colts in 2020. They gave him a 4-year deal, day one of the offseason free agency. 4-year deal, $22.5 million deal. A lot of Colts fans were speculating, was that too much money for a kicker, because we know the history with kicking and how they do those things. But I think if the guy is accurate enough, you would pay him. So I think this is a pretty decent move. Unfortunate for Chase McLaughlin. I think he had a pretty decent year last year. But hey, the more kickers, the merrier. It's very unfortunate, and the timetable for injuries with kickers is very limited, because we have a history of kickers getting hurt at the worst time, especially when you look at the games we lost due to missed field goals. So I think getting a guy as accurate as Matt, I think it's a pretty decent pickup. Mike, what's your thoughts about the Matt Guy signing?
The Matt,
Matt Gay. Matt
yeah,
Gay.
yeah. Real quick before we get to the kicker signing, I just want to harp on Samson Ebukam again, because he's still a guy that just makes winning plays. And again, in the pass rush department, I think he's an upgrade. In the run game department, I think he's an upgrade. Now you kind of Samson Ebukam, like, Landon, correct me if call me crazy, but man, do I see some similarities when I put him and Quiddy Pay side by side? Like, do I see some similarities there? When Samson first came into the league, I really like the signing still. Like, I still can't stop talking about this right now, because, and here's the thing, I believe Fact check me on this, but I think he's 26, 27 years old. So he's not like a 30-year-old pass rusher. Like, we can still have him on a 3-year deal, and we can still, get this roster going and get it better. So the fact that this is a solid deal, not only for him, but for the Colts, that is just, it's a really solid deal. It really is. This is, man, Chris Ballard is dealing, y'all. He is dealing. Hey, I guess he's learning. I guess he's learning. I guess Jim Irsay finally gave him a knock in the ass with those Mike Tyson gloves he bought. So I guess he finally did it. So hey, we're gonna get going. Hey, let Ballard cook. Yes, let him cook. Yeah, that's just focus on the future. It's happening. It's happening, man. It's a different Chris Ballard here. He's different.
Yeah, and I think too, like he plays the run also better than Yannick. And I actually just posted the RAS score for Samson Ebukon on Twitter. You can go ahead and check that out at Landon3MR. But if you're wondering what the total score is, 9.80 RAS. So very much fits the Chris Ballard. Like I said, super athletic guy. Really good length, really good explosion. Yeah, see, there we go. So it's to me, it's a very good signing that I think, like I said, you're probably going to get him cheaper than what you were able to get Yannick Ngakoue at, and they're going to play very similar roles. But I do think that Ebukon has a little bit more upside as a run defender, and I think he has a little bit more juice as a pass rusher. So, and like I said, he's still young. So, it'll be curious to see. This is a really good defensive line too. He's going to be playing around a lot of really talented players: Grover Stewart, DeForest Buckner, Kwity Paye, Dio Dangbo, and then you throw him in there. That's a super athletic, like super fast group of pass rushers.
Absolutely. Did you mention Taekwon Lewis, sir?
I didn't. I did not mention Taekwon Lewis, but yeah, Taekwon's back as well. So another really long,
Yes.
rangy pass rusher that can play the run as well. So hopefully he's healthy. For sure that's been his biggest battle, but he's been super productive whenever he actually plays. In some games.
Yeah, and his deal is 1.08 million base salary, 60K per game, active roster bonus. It's worth 1.2 million if he plays every game, 500K guarantee, and he can earn up to 1.25 million in sacks, playing time, and playoff incentives. So I think that's a very good deal regarding his health if he can be productive, because he is a great talent when he is on the field. We've seen it last year before he went down. So I do think that's a good reason to bring him back, and especially for that contract for what he's worth. I'm going to go to Mike real quick on the Taekwon Lewis, bringing him back. How do you feel about that?
Yeah. So I'm for it. I'm for it. Cheap 1-year deal, not a multi-year deal. If it doesn't work out, no risk. It's a cheap deal. He'll go somewhere else next year. But I am hoping that he does something, because he's one of those former second-round picks during that draft. That's obviously a draft to forget normally for Chris Ballard, but you want one of them to work out, right? Paris Campbell, unfortunately, so far hasn't worked out. He's still a free agent right now. Is he going to come back? I hope he's another one of those 1-year deals we bring back. But, Ben Banigou flopped, and you had other flops in that draft. But when you look at Taekwon, came from Ohio State and, was thought to play inside and out. He did do that, but just injuries 2 years in a row just hurt him so bad. And they were kind of like Paris, man. They were freak injuries. He gets an interception in Tennessee and he blows his knee out. He blows his knee out on the interception. So
crazy. I was at that game.
Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine the freaking feeling being there during that time. But this is a really solid deal. You get him back and he can continue to try and develop. He's kind of like a Paris Campbell to me. He hasn't had a true offseason to work on his game. It's been rehab. If he can get an offseason where he can just work on his game, get better, work on technique, I would love to see him at his highest, at his peak, at his ceiling. But I love the decision to bring back Tyquan. Again, more defensive linemen, more help. Tyquan has shown, it's kind of a little bit from Ben Bandigoud. Even though they were drafted in the same round, the same time, Tyquan has shown the ability to do it. He's shown the ability to play in the run, pass rush from inside, pass rush from the 5 technique, from the 3 technique. So I love it. I love it.
Absolutely. Did you have anything to mention on Taekwon Landon, or you already said your piece?
No, I kind of said my piece. It's really just kind of depending on how he comes back from injury. But, like I said, another really long, rangy, explosive guy. And you just kind of hope that the injuries haven't taken that explosion away from him, because he's been a really productive player when he's on the field.
Absolutely, absolutely. We don't know, but I mean, I'm pretty sure they're waiting on giving him a bigger deal. As you can see, we're about to mention why I think he's coming back, because we're going to talk about Matt Ryan now. Matt Ryan is planned to be released from the Indianapolis Colts. I think everyone is throwing a party about it, but I'm going to give Matt Ryan his respect. Ultimate veteran, ultimate competitor. We've seen flashes of Matty Ice this year, even though we've seen the downfall of Matty Ice as well. But he has some moments of in the clutch of bringing, driving down the field and showing his arm and what he can do in a hurry up offense. That was around when Frank Reich was still a head coach, but it is what it is. But Matt Ryan still has some flashes. We appreciate your services in Indiana. Best of luck to your future and endeavors of what he's going to do. That is still the timetable decision on his behalf of what he's going to do. If he's going to be in the booth, is he going to retire? Is he going to play another year? What he's going to do with that? But best of luck to Matt Ryan. Landon, did you have any thoughts on the Colts release?
I mean, no, this is always kind of where it was going. So it's unfortunate that it didn't work out, for both parties. And I think it's just best to move on at this point. Wish him the best. He's total pro for sure. Like, definitely a fantastic person, a really great player whenever he was at the top of his game. It just, unless you're Tom Brady, Father Time is undefeated. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, unfortunate the way it played out, but this was always kind of likely the way everything was headed. And, I just kind of wish him all the best in his future endeavors. And, I wish it worked out here for sure.
Absolutely. Mike, what's your thoughts on Matt Ryan?
Yeah, so gosh, man, this always sucks for me to talk about, because at first I thought it was a good idea, being the first one in the fan base mentioning Matt Ryan, and then turns out to just be a complete flop. Hey man, you get stuff wrong sometimes. Chris Ballard got the trade wrong, it just didn't work out. Matt Ryan, it's so weird too, because Matt Ryan didn't show these signs in Atlanta last year. He was moving around the pocket well. He was making throws downfield. Like, the accuracy was still there. The ball placement was still there. And for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe at that age when you've spent so much of your life in one place and you get traded, maybe your energy changes, or I don't know how to explain it, but Matt Ryan just looked completely different this year. Part of it was because the offensive line was the worst in the NFL. Part of it was because he was possibly the worst quarterback in the NFL. It also didn't help that, the receiving core was not the greatest. It was subpar, not a lot of separation. So there was also some drop passes going on. The run game wouldn't get going at all, which isn't Jonathan Taylor's fault, even though he had like 5 fumbles this year. It just didn't work out, man. Whether he retires or decides to come back, it won't be in Indianapolis. I truly hope the best for him, man. But it just didn't work out. The cut needs to be made, because you just got to move on. You got to, like I said in my series, or in my part for the Playing GM series, I would love to have Matt Ryan back. I think he would be the perfect mentor for whoever you bring in at number 4, whether if it's CJ Stroud, Will Levis, or whatever. Whoever you bring in, he would be the perfect mentor. But does he want to sign up for that role? Does he believe he can still offer a team winning quarterback play? So that's unfortunate, man. I hate that it went the way it did. I think we all do. We all hate the way it did. Chris Ballard especially, but um, it needs to be made to give us some cap relief, and uh, just just unfortunate, man. We all really wanted it to work out for Matt Ryan.
Yeah, we did, man. We really did. But with Matt Ryan being gone, it starts to question who's next. Who's the next person to either get a deal or to be released. So I want to ask you two guys. My personally opinion is probably Nick Foles. After Nick Foles, I think Paris Campbell will get a deal, and then they'll find out what to do with Molly Cox. But definitely want to get your thoughts, Landon. What do you think next is the next step for the Indianapolis Colts after this?
I do think Nick Foles does get released soon, but I think you could really. It's kind of odd, but I think Ryan Kelly might actually, possibly be moved. We'll just have to see. But he's a name that's kind of come up a few different places. Paris Campbell, kind of see what the market's like. Obviously, the market with wide receivers moving very slowly right now. It's not quite as big as last year's, which is a good thing for the Colts, not as good for the players. So I think, a lot of these guys might kind of wait and see if they can get a team to bite on a bigger deal. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to see Paris back. Hopefully that gets done pretty soon. And yeah, so like realistically, I do think Nick Foles, you probably see that here soon. But then yeah, I mean I'm curious to see what happens with Ryan Kelly.
Yeah, me too. Now that you bring it up, I totally forgot. All right, Mike, who do you think? What do you think is the next step for the Colts after this?
I think the next step, especially if you do a pretty big contract like this one with Samson Ebukam, I think the next thing is to open up some more cap relief, some more cap room. So if I had to anticipate the next move for them, it would be either bring back Paris or you're making a move to get a contract off your books, whether if that's via release or trade. So the two primary candidates are Ryan Kelly, Kenny Moore. I haven't heard too much about Mo Ali Cox, honestly. Maybe I'm just not. I don't have the right people like a lot of other people are who are very more plugged in than I am. And we have those in Cult Media, by the way. So Ryan Kelly, I think would suspect as our first one. Like Landon mentioned, he's a guy that's a candidate to be let go or traded. So I don't think just Ryan Kelly would be enough if there's that camp out there that wants to say, hey, trade Ryan Kelly to Arizona so we can move up to number 3. I don't think that would do it for Arizona, even if you offered them the 4th and maybe some more picks. Personally, I wouldn't even want to do that. So I don't know what the next one. I would just anticipate either Paris Campbell or a cap relief move. One of those two.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Definitely got to add some more relief to that cap space. But for sure, it's interesting to see what they do next. But I'm enjoying this offseason so far. I don't know about you guys. Adding a defensive end to the roster is always a bonus because like Mike says himself, you can never have enough DBs. So definitely, I mean, defensive ends. So adding him is definitely something looking forward to next season to see what they do. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask now in the chat. Appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. 40 people in here. Hit the like button, subscribe, also comment as well. If you have questions, feel free to ask us now. I know they mentioned Lamar Jackson in the chat. But so now I can ask you guys. Lamar Jackson, are you in or no? Landon.
As in, what do you mean? Like, am I in? Like, do
If
I think
if
it's
he
going to
if he was
happen?
if he was available, would you get him?
It just depends on the money. But I mean, yeah, I mean, he's 26-year-old MVP quarterback, of course. Yeah. Do it now. Do I think it's going to happen? No, like not even close. They're drafting a quarterback. They're not signing Lamar. They're not trading for Lamar. It's not happening. They're drafting the next quarterback. Um, I mean, I don't really know what else to say, but yes, I mean, like, do I love Lamar Jackson and would I love to see him in a Colts uniform? Yeah, of course, that would be awesome. But it's just not going to happen.
Mike, what do you think about Lamar Jackson? with what
Yeah,
else the future series.
it's not going to happen. It's not. But the Colts are committed to getting a quarterback unless worst case scenario happened and they probably couldn't get a quarterback. But me personally, I mean, how do you say no? Like what Landon said, how do you say no to a 26-year-old MVP? How do you say no to that? I mean, we're sitting here in quarterback purgatory for 5 years, and we have the audacity to say no to a 26-year-old MVP. I don't get that. Like I said, I understand if eventually they came to that answer, because I obviously understand the metrics, I understand the timeline and everything. But like I mentioned in an earlier show, if you want to come out immediately like some teams did and say, nope, we're out on Lamar Jackson, you are foolish. If you are not interested in Lamar Jackson, I'll repeat it again. If you're not interested in Lamar Jackson, you're not interested in winning. Basically is my 2 cents. Now, that doesn't mean it doesn't go for, oh, well, let's take a couple of weeks to talk about it, and then we'll end up at that answer that we won't go after Lamar Jackson. I understand that. If you just sit there and especially now, right, make some deals right now. You got a solid pass rusher, make some deals, maybe get some weapons, fill out some other holes. Okay, where do we stand now? You know, where could we go? Where do we stand? Okay, but me personally, I would go get him. Like, it is a game you could play either way, but the way I look at it, because I agree with both sides, but the way I look at it, you know what Lamar Jackson is. He's a top 5 MVP style quarterback at 26 years old, not even in his prime yet. 26 years old, you know what he is. You don't know what Bryce Young is. He's not a guarantee to be great. You don't know what Colts' favorite prospect. You don't know what Anthony Richardson is. He's got the biggest bust potential of all these quarterbacks. CJ Stroud, Will Levis. You don't know these guys. You don't know who they are. But you know who Lamar Jackson is. So, hey, and as a former Lamar Jackson hater, he has performed and gotten better every single year. So, me personally, yeah, I would go get him. Yes, let's start competing today. Screw a 5-year plan. Let's make it a 5-week plan. That's what we need to do. So, I'm down for it either way, man. I'm down for it either way. I get it if you don't want to go Lamar Jackson. I get it if you want to go get him. I'm just on both sides of the fence, really. I'm down for whatever. But again, I will say it again. If you immediately came out and said, no, we're not interested in Lamar Jackson, a guy who has had a clean record, who has been a stand-up face of the franchise, a leader in his community, you're not interested in winning. Considering there were 3 teams last year that wanted to give Deshaun Watson, coming out of 30 civil suits, $200 guaranteed million. So the math ain't mathing for me. Even though I wasn't the greatest person at math, it still ain't making sense to me. So I'm good either way, but it won't happen.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, man, shout out to all the love that the Blue Staple is getting right now from the post about the Ibukam signing. Man, a bunch of people are interacting with that. So shout out to everybody on Twitter. Please follow us if you haven't. It's a lot of interaction. It's a lot of things.
Yeah,
going
man.
on
I don't know what's going on, man. Bargain Ben Ballard are going to need a new nickname soon. Throwing out some money the last couple of days.
Ballin' Ballard. That's what I got.
Yeah.
Ballin' Ballard.
Yeah, he balling right now.
No games Ballard.
BDB.
Okay. What?
Monster Ballard. Ballard.
Throwing it down on free agency.
Creatine Ballard or something.
Oh,
I mean, he must have.
People have been in my mentions for 2 days straight complaining nonstop. And then we finally sign players. And you know what they do whenever we sign somebody?
It just fades away.
No, it don't fade away. They complain more about the
Hey, man, I'm happy. I'm already happy with this free agency. I'm already happy. You got a kicker, okay? Not the sexiest deal, but it's a freaking kicker. The position that has cost the Colts so many games and maybe potential games to get into the playoffs. That could have made the difference. So Colt fan, we know what that's about. I don't care about the kicker. As long as he's making his kicks, I don't give a damn what the contract is. So
You know what he got to do next.
yes. So
He got to go get. You got to get the hot guy, man. He got to get Gardner Minshew, man. He already got the Colts fans on the edge of the seats. The icing on the cake is getting Gardner Minshew. Let's get it done.
Take Gardner Minshew and then draft Jalen Carter at 4. I love it. I love it. More defense. No.
No. Let's not do that.
So what do you need Gardner Minshew for?
Bro, a vet. He's a vet. And he's a person you can plug in at any moment and give you some type of production, especially with the Shane Steichen offense. He knows.
He is 26 years old. You really think he wants to be in a vet?
He knows Shane Steichen offense.
Hey, man. Hey, there's the connection. I get it either way. You know Landon, you taking a picture of me or something?
No, my phone's going crazy.
Oh, yeah. Just like Chris Ballard right now. Wow.
Like always.
Yeah.
It never stops.
Hey, I don't know. Chris Ballard's in a good mood right now. I don't know if he's having another child. I don't know if he just found a new house. I don't know what. He's in a good mood right now.
Yeah. I mean, these are all really good signings, man. Like all these things help. Like I know like kicker is not a sexy position, but I mean, until the NFL rules change, that position can legit decide game. I mean, that's one of the only positions that scores points. I mean, like they score points, and you know, whenever you have stability at that, it's such a big advantage.
No, brother Marcus, bring it back. You are going to hell. You are going.
Damn, that's cold-blooded.
That's
cold-blooded.
Okay, fine. Though. Will Anderson then. Okay, Will Anderson.
But and then on top of that, you bring EJ Speed back, really good ascending rotational linebacker. You get a really good. To me, this is an upgrade over Yannick Ngakoue.
Yes.
So you upgrade for cheaper, and you know you bring Tyquan Lewis back as well. So I mean, you know, really, it seems like he's kind of addressed the defensive side of the ball outside of the DB room. I expect to see kind of a veteran DB added for a cheaper deal, you know, kind of very similar to what we saw last year in the safety room with, oh my gosh, see, my phone's going crazy. Who was the safety last year? I just lost my train of thought. McLeod, Rodney McLeod.
Yeah, Rodney McLeod.
So like I expect to see a cornerback move very similar to the Rodney McLeod move, and then, like I said, I expect them to draft a cornerback at least in the second or third round if they still have those picks. I anticipate they do, but yeah, I mean, like really, the only thing that's left is kind of to secure the offensive side of the ball. I mean, I'd love to see some more, you know, Paris re-signed or another veteran wide receiver. I think Paris would be the best bet though for that. And then, you know, along the offensive line, I'm curious to see if they either get a swing tackle or if they go for the right guard position there for a veteran as well. So I'll be curious to see. And of course, you know, possibly a backup quarterback to mentor the young guy. So it'll be really curious to see how things go the rest of this way. Like I said, there's a very good chance we see some more veteran players that Colts fans have really known and grown to really love get released or traded. And that's just the unfortunate reality whenever you win 4 games. I mean, there's going to be a lot of turnover.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're going to complain about only winning 4 games and, you know, oh, well, they've never won the division. They've never won this. They haven't won a playoff game in this long. And then you're going to get mad whenever they release or trade players that have helped those results happen.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a lose-lose situation. I mean, I don't really know what you want, but yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of turnover, and I'm curious to see how deep this goes.
Hey man, somebody in the comments was trolling me. It's up at the top. Marcus, I think somebody said there's enough money to bring back Matt Pryor on a 1-year, $4 million deal. think somebody was trolling me right there. No. I would rather give that $4 million to the kicker. So, oh my Jesus, yeah. That I think that's the same person that said the potholes, right? Talked about the potholes in Indy. Nah, that was wrong. That was wrong. Golly, yeah. This is a really good start for Indianapolis. This is a what vet quarterback would you want them to sign?
I already gave you my idea.
I'm down for Jacoby Brissett, but like I spoke about in my GM series, his price range. I'm not sure if he's going to be in the Colts price range. It just depends on. I mean, they've already paid him. What was it when they extended him when Andrew Luck retired? He was at what, $16 million annually, I want to say. So he's already, would he be open to coming back? He performed solid, but some things happened, was out of his control, and kind of felt unfair that they went out and signed Phillip Rivers. So, it's a give or take thing. Like the same thing with Rock. With Rock Ya-Sin, he was traded for Yannick Ngakoue. And for right now, with the Samson Ebukam signing, it looks like you're not bringing Yannick Ngakoue back. But look at Rock. When he was traded, he called out the locker room. He legit called the players out. Like, I don't have the quote in front of me, but he basically called out the team for being complacent and just letting their foot off the gas at the end of the season. Those 2 games against the Raiders and the Jaguars. So I don't know if he'll come back, but maybe just something to think about. Jacoby and who? Jacoby and AR. Oh my gosh, I swear. AR is like the only prospect in this draft. Thoughts on Colts trading Kelly to Jets for Elijah Moore and not bringing back Paris? I'm down for that. Get a young guy in Elijah Moore.
As long as you can get Tyler Scott, I don't care.
Yeah, get Tyler Scott or Trey Tucker, one of those two. Just so y'all know, if Tyler Scott comes to Indianapolis, you book it. We already got series story time with Marcus. Tyler and Marcus. Yeah. Story time with Tyler and Marcus.
I need to know the first interaction. Who's the first person that called him if he gets drafted to Indy? I need to know.
Right. Hey, you might have a chance to be on that draft series from the Colts.
Don't ruin me with a good time.
Shout out Blue Stable. Let's get it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I need the merch.
Yeah, I mean,
I
think the Jets. I think the Jets probably hang up the phone if that's.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, but why would the Jets do that?
They don't. It'd be cool if they did though.
Don't they already have that Vera Tucker kid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a guard.
Oh, he's a guard. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, they are meeting with Keely Ringo. That would be a really good day 2 guy if he was.
That would be solid.
Fall.
Okay, everybody say no on 3.
Say what?
No on 3.
1, 2, 3.
No.
I actually like Trey Lance.
So I do too. I do too, but I can't trade for him. Sorry.
I can't.
He's stuck. It's free Trey Lance until his contract's up.
Yeah. So we'll see you in 3 years, I think.
Yeah, I think
we'll see you in 3 years.
Yeah, he's stuck. Yeah, they did. They did, Luke.
Yeah, they met with Ringo today. If he's there at 35, that's gonna be hard to pass up.
I think Ballard got my mock draft. I think he's gonna get Jacoria Bennett late in the draft. It's all planning. I don't
know what y'all are talking about. Did you see Julius Brents?
Yeah.
I think the perfect
that was Noah that posted that, didn't it?
That is the perfect one.
That's the perfect Chris Ballard player.
He has a better raw score than Keely Ringo, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, like he's got a super high raw score. Senior Bowl?
Yeah.
Are you serious? Like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
Come on.
I was about to say, I could have swore his raw score.
Ballard's all over that guy.
Yeah. What about bringing in Thielen? I think I saw some of the Colts were interested. Yeah, don't read that guy. Yeah, don't read that guy. Whoever, I know who you're talking about. No, that I know who you're talking about. No, from my understanding, Colts haven't even communicated with Thielen's camp. So, just so you know, everybody knows who that guy is. So, but I would be open to it. But with Thielen at this stage in his career, would he be open to it? I mean, if I was Thielen, wouldn't I be racing to go to New York with Aaron Rodgers?
I know
Well, I
real
mean,
source that he was linked to the Panthers.
yeah, I was gonna say he's
Might go
actually
there.
meeting with the Panthers.
Yeah.
So.
That's a good move.
You know, I'm looking at Dallas, maybe New York. I'm looking at the Jets with Aaron Rodgers there now. I'm looking at several teams.
They don't need more wide receivers. That's the last thing they need.
Right?
Yeah. Any more questions in the comments?
Any more questions, y'all? Hey, man, any questions y'all got? We're here for y'all guys. We got y'all.
We are an hour in. Appreciate all the love that you guys have given today.
Yeah,
this breaking news.
Yeah, this was going to be a 30-minute show until Landon over here wanted to break news.
Hey, man, you got to do what you got to do, man.
Hey, it is. Like I said, my phone constantly goes off. So
right,
Adam Schefter of the Blue Stable.
Hey, shout out to everybody commenting though. If y'all watching on YouTube, make sure y'all subscribe for the latest news on the Colts. Make sure to like this live video. If you're on Facebook, make sure you're following our Facebook page. And if you're on Twitter, make sure you comment, like, retweet. But most importantly, follow us, guys. We got more stuff coming to y'all, especially talk about draft. You know, we're going to talk about that pretty soon. The case to trade up, to trade down, to stay put, and other scenarios that could happen on draft night.
Will the Raiders still try and jump it?
Probably not. I don't anticipate that happening.
I don't anticipate it happening either, although I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I mean, they still need a quarterback. Jimmy G, I really like Jimmy G, but I think they're
going to go with Jimmy G at least for this year and see how it goes, and then might look at next year's class, you know, as far as that goes. But
yeah.
Caleb,
I mean, Jordan Travis is going to the draft next year, right? He's eligible.
Yeah, out of Florida State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got Caleb Williams, Drake May, you got Cam Ward, you got Jordan Travis. So,
oh yeah, there's
really good prospects.
Yeah, it's a good quarterback class next year.
The Harlem Shake. I don't know the Harlem Shake, but
bro, how do you not know what the Harlem Shake is?
But okay, wait, what's the Harlem Shake? I probably know what it is. I've probably done it, but I don't know the name.
Oh, what's that real popular? The Miami Heat did a really popular one like years ago, where they were all in the locker room, like LeBron, Chris Bosh, D Wade, Birdman.
Birdman. We're talking about the old school Harlem Shake, not that.
Yeah, that's the old one where everybody stays still while one person is getting everything ready, and then the beat drops.
We're talking about the one where he got to move his shoulders.
The Bernie? No, that's not the Bernie. I don't know, man. Hey, man, my wedding might be happening soon. Maybe like in the next year, maybe. So I might have to learn these things.
Bricked.
Although, who wants to have a Blue Stable themed wedding? Probably not my girl.
She would hate it.
Probably not her.
All right. Like I don't know what the curly shuffle is.
The curly shuffle, is that like a northern thing, or
I don't know.
Have y'all ever heard of the curly shuffle?
Nope.
Man, this probably isn't a real thing. They're probably just trying to make us say this so they can have it as a clickback or something.
Now he's talking about the Three Stooges, bro.
The
curly shuffle with the Three Stooges. You ever watch the Three Stooges?
Yes, I watched the dang Three Stooges.
Shout out to Landon, the historian.
Right?
I had no clue. I was like, what? Yeah, it's an old thing.
Have you ever watched Three's Company?
It's an old thing.
Have you ever watched Three's Oliver and Company?
Well, of course I watched Three's Company.
I know one show you haven't watched.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't watch a ton of TV, but
I'll say you haven't watched Gilligan's Island.
Mike. Oh, you have?
Oh, you have?
I've seen it. 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 I' Bro, are you serious? Gilligan's Island. That's what you come up with? I haven't seen Gilligan's Island. Yes.
What about Chips?
Yes, I've watched Chips.
What about Get Smart?
Yes, I've watched Get Smart. I've watched, bro. I'm like a decade older than you. So everything that you think you've watched, I've seen while you were still in diapers.
I probably wasn't even born.
Probably not. There's a good chance.
The out historian, the historian. I think it's
I was a big Marianne
trying to out historian the historian. That's what Luke, our photographer, said. I think it would be the equivalent if I went up to Andrew Luck and tried talking history.
Architecture. Yeah. I was a big Marianne fan. Big Marianne fan on Gilligan's Island. She was something else. And then get smart. Suzanne Summers, bro. Are you serious? You talking about like, man, my aunt used to have workout programs from Suzanne Summers. Do you even know who Suzanne Summers is, Mike?
Suzanne? Who don't know who that is?
I don't know.
I don't know who she is.
That's the blonde girl on Three's Company. Before you talking about me watching it.
Suzanne, wait, which one? The one that plays Christy?
Yeah, the blonde.
There's two blondes.
No, there's not.
Yes, when Christy left the show and they brought in the other one, I can't remember her name, but
the original.
Yeah, the original. Okay, the original.
Yes. And then John Ritter, of course.
Yes. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, for sure. Love John Ritter.
We all love Joyce, by the way.
If I watch Gilligan's Island. What's wrong with you, bro?
Are you guys done playing Jeopardy?
My favorite episode is the ghost one. But also it's weird how out of everything that happened every day at the island, the professor somehow had a book about it.
So hold on. So this is like an important question. Like if you watched Gilligan's Island, were you Marianne or were you Ginger? Which team? Marianne or Ginger?
I would say Marianne.
I was a Marianne guy. Let's
get it. Oh, Mark.
Unfortunately, like Dawn Wells, she passed away.
A
couple years ago, a year or two ago. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
See, Brian, Marianne guy. So,
just hit the subscribe button at the bottom. It's like big and red with a push button. It says subscribe. Just hit it. It's free, by the way. Just hit the button. Yeah, I don't mind them. You know, they'll do this all night.
Hold on. Before we log off, I've got a TV show that Mike has never even heard of.
What's up?
That I grew up watching. You've never even heard of this. H&R Puffin Stuff.
No.
Yeah, see, there you go. Right there.
No, I can't say I have.
Brian's probably the only person in this chat that's probably ever heard of that show.
No offense, Brian. Jesus Christ.
Hey, man.
There's no offense. That's awesome.
My dad did his best to put me on shows, okay?
That's awesome if you've heard of H&R Puffin Stuff.
Man, by the way, I need to get on Amazon.
Saturday mornings, baby. Let's go. Yes, sir. The 70s, man. It was a good time.
Old Nick at Night.
Y'all are something else, man.
Hey, man, but shout out to everybody that was here, all right? We were just going to talk about some stuff, and then obviously the chat popped off, and, you know, we had some breaking news, so that's all good, man. That's all good. We still got the big one that's happening April 27th. We will be going live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, 30 minutes before the draft starts, because obviously we're going to be picking number 4 for right now. Could speed up if they trade up to number 3. But just so you guys know, if you like the Blue Stable and you like our little chats about football and our little side conversations about 80s, 70s TV shows, make sure you're subscribed on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, whatever the case may be. We're everywhere, guys. We love you guys. We love the support. We love the comments, especially the questions. If y'all want to jump in at any time, guys, we always love it, man. So, again, remember, April 27th, Thursday. We're going live 30 minutes before the draft, and we're going to be talking a whole bunch of stuff that could be happening. Obviously, from here until then, there's going to be more stuff, more info being put out, and all kinds of stuff, especially the smoke screens that be given 2 days before the draft. So thank you guys. Appreciate everybody. Love y'all. Love y'all.
And that's going to do it. That is Landon. That's Mike. And I'm Culture Shock. And we are out until further notice. Stay tuned to whenever breaking news drop. You know where to find us. All right. We out.